Welcome everybody back to another episode of the People's Real Estate Podcast. In this episode, we are going to be talking about 5 most commonly asked questions that buyers may have. With joining me today, as always, is Renee and Edwin. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, man. How are
Good,
you,
bro?
You guys ready for today's episode?
Very excited.
I'm interested to hear. Where'd you pull this out? This is ChatGPT?
Yeah. So
All right, I'm interested in
we
hearing
pulled
what
these
the public
questions
says.
from ChatGPT. If you guys don't know what ChatGPT is, maybe you've been living under a rock. It is the most groundbreaking technological tools out right now.
Probably,
you know,
yeah.
Artificial intelligence is here to take over. So
that we know of at least.
just be prepared. And if you're a real estate agent, by the way, side note, if you're a real estate agent and you aren't leveraging technology, especially AI right now, what are you doing?
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you, but that's why you're here. If you find this podcast by any luck,
On a little sidebar,
yeah,
I saw something the other day that said ChatGPT is actually recommending realtors now.
For real, that's crazy.
Asking for the realtor. Well, maybe we do that later. Asking for the realtor like in your area.
Yeah, we're gonna have to shoot an episode on that. Talk about that. We're gonna. I don't know.
Yeah,
anything about that
sidebar.
yet.
Sorry, let's go.
About not, but yeah. But if you found this episode and you are a real estate agent, or you are a buyer, or you're just curious about the real estate world, make sure you like and subscribe. We would love to get people's feedback on how the episodes come out, how they sound, the content in general. Feedback is always welcome. So, guys, let's get to the meat and potatoes of it. So, the first question I have here, I have 10 in total, but we're gonna try to cover at least 5 because I know how we are. We get,
Are they? Do you think they're laid out in chronological order?
No,
as of
I'm gonna
importance?
pick. I'm gonna pick random ones.
Got you.
And I'm gonna just hit you guys with them.
Let's do
and
it,
then we'll answer them. All right. So the first question is: should I consider a home inspection when buying a new construction property? All right. What do you guys think? Should someone get an inspection done on a new construction property?
I think they should watch our episode on home inspections and why they're important. But yeah. Long story short, man, you need a home inspection. It's usually the biggest, greatest investment you're gonna make in your lifetime for you and your family. I think spending a couple $100, for some peace of mind and just for knowing. You got to understand, some home inspections aren't only to tell you things that are wrong. They're also telling you things that are lacking, like as far as maintenance. They point things out, like, hey, if you were to caulk here, then you have less moisture in this area or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So so you want these things. It's like if you bought a car, you probably want the instruction manual to come along with it.
Yeah.
And a home inspection, it's not an instruction manual, but it's like a guide for your new home that you're buying or whatever. So very important, man.
Yeah. Edwin, what do you think?
Short answer, definitely for sure. Because you never know what you're getting into. Let's say it's not the most reliable construction company that built a new home. They just want to make a quick buck and say, okay, let's build a quick house and then we'll sell it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It gives you a great peace of mind knowing that what you're buying is sustainable, or if it needs a little bit of work, it's manageable. You know what I'm saying? It gives you a good it gives you a definite answer if you're going to buy or not.
I totally agree. I agree with both of you guys. I agree to the point where you should get a home inspection. Doesn't matter if it's new build or if it's an old home. You should still get a home inspection, and it'll, like you said, only cost you a couple $100.
Yeah.
And not also just to know the condition of the property, but also, like Renee said, things you should be on the lookout for, right? Hey, maybe in 5 years you should look out for these things. If these things start happening, it's time to change this. And also the information that you get from the home inspector himself or herself.
Very valuable.
Very valuable. They'll tell you kind of tips, for being a homeowner, how to take care of your property. Like, hey, if you're gonna do a garden, be careful. I know Edgar hates mulch. He's like, don't do mulch. He also hates like pebbles in the thing, and like all these tips that the average person may not know.
Yeah, home inspector might point out, hey, they used the wrong material here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, they did it, but that's the wrong material.
Yeah.
That'll probably rot.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Or whatever it is, right? So, yeah, man, a lot of value in home inspection.
So, long story short, get a home inspection. It doesn't matter if it's old build or if it's new construction. always get a home inspection. All right, moving on to the next question, guys. Let's. I kind of like this one. What are pros and cons of buying a fixer-upper versus a move-in ready home? Edwin.
My first where my mind goes, the first place my mind goes is the price. Pros would be the fixer upper. It could be a little more reasonable within your budget for many people. Compared to a fully renovated, ready to go home, you're paying fully renovated prices. Exactly, you know what I'm saying? It's market value. You're getting what you're paying for essentially.
I agree. Renee, what do you think?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the buyer, right? This is going to be case per case. And I think the two things that mostly influence this are going to be, number one, your why. Like, why are you buying this house, right? Are you buying it short term, long term to rent as for your own? You know what I mean? That might determine, what condition you're going to buy this home in, right? And number two, what I tell my buyers is lifestyle, right? And just know yourself. Me, I'm not handy, bro. You know what I mean? I can change a light bulb. I can do a filter, simple things. But you start talking electrical, plumbing, and things like that to me, nah, that's not the language I speak, right? So me personally, like, if it's gonna be for me, man, like, I want to live there with my family, I probably want something renovated. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna be fixing things. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. But there's people that are super handy. And now they see, and then now so like I said, depends on your why, right? So if you're a person that is doing this as an investment and you're handy, that's like boom, boom, like that's a win-win, because you're gonna buy the property cheaper, like Edwin said. You're gonna build in the equity, right? And you'll see that long term, right? Because you're putting in the sweat equity up front.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so
just to expand though,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people have to make a little sacrifice also. Let's say you don't qualify. Let's say you're not in the budget for the fully renovated house that you like. But you can use the, let's say, not so renovated house as somewhat of a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And if you see this house is 200,000 not renovated and 300,000 fully renovated, then you can imagine putting in a little bit of work into your home would increase the equity, and help you move up to the next house.
Like I think so important, so to answer the buyers, to make it a little more concise, have a plan, right? I just posted something and it a lot of people responded to it. They liked it. It was like a voiceover by Barbara Cochran, and it was basically like, hey, if you can't afford the beautiful house on the hill right now, understand how real estate works, right? Where you can build up towards that beautiful home.
Yeah.
But you got to have something to keep on trading up, right? So even if it's, the ugly duckling or the one bedroom condo, it's better than renting. So over time, it's like a trading piece, or she said like a trading card almost, and you can keep trading up, little by little until you get to your dream home.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I have a perfect example for you guys, and I think I've told you guys before. Renee, I've told you this example before. Pros and cons of a fixer-upper, right? A fixer-upper, of course, it's going to need work. You're going to have to also keep in mind how long it's going to take for all that work to be done. And if you are working, like you said, analyze your situation, right? Your timeline. If you are on a timeline where your lease is up, you got to find a house, as soon as possible, you might not be able to afford a fixer upper. You just need a move-in ready, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be something that you're paying top dollar for. My oldest brother, he started off with a 2-bedroom, one bath house, and then that house even needed some work, but it was move-in ready. But he just did all the work that he needed to while he was living in the house, and then he lived in that house for a couple years, and then he sold it, and then he bought another one, and he bought this one, which was another fixer-upper, but at a higher price point. But he bought it in the right neighborhood. He bought it in the right location, where Edwin says, right, there's comps around where you can kind of see where the value of the house would be at if you fix it up, and what you could get for it. And so there's a lot of value in also being able to see what you can do with a fixer upper. It may not look how you want it to look at that moment, but if you have the skills, like you said, to be able to fix it up, and the potential in it, then go for it. But It all depends, like you said, in your situation.
Yeah, it's case by case.
It's case by case.
And one little tip I would add, if you're not in the construction business and stuff like that, take on things that you want to update, not necessarily things that you want to I'm gonna make an addition back here.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? No, but some people go into it with that. Okay, well, there's a big backyard. The house is small. I'm gonna make a big addition.
Yeah.
They don't know that addition could be $150,000.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So real quick, a good follow up question for that would be, Renee, what are like the essential things to, like, cost effective things that add value to a house that the average person can do, right? Or can hire somebody to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Things that they should expect. Like, let's say, hey, you don't like the kitchen because it's old and ugly. Hey, it's gonna be fun renovating that kitchen. You know what I mean, and customizing to make it a project. Family. Make it a project. You know what I'm saying?
Start a TikTok series.
Hey, whatever, hey, whatever floats your boat. You know what I mean? But that's something that either you're probably not gonna do it, but you could budget for. You know what I mean? And you can start planning and things like that. But hey, man, if you have to, like, let's say, finish a whole basement. That's a big project, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it all, like I said, pick and choose your battles, I guess is what I'm saying. When looking at homes like that, you have to that are fixer uppers. Look at things where you can add value quickly, like bathrooms, kitchens, right? I think those boost up the value tremendously.
Yeah, you can't ever go wrong with flooring, kitchen, bathrooms, and paint, obviously. So those things are easy, and you
lighting.
And those are all DIY things.
Yeah, DIY. If you're handy, you can pull those off.
Don't start like Renee said, don't start an addition to your house.
Yeah, like if that's what I'm saying. Don't, in my opinion, right? Unless you've talk to professionals and you have the budget for it, don't go into thinking, hey, I'm gonna buy this 2-1, right? And then I'm gonna do a big addition in the back to add a primary bedroom, and I'm gonna expand the kitchen. Like, bro, that's big projects. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, when we say fixer upper, that's what I'm saying. As a first time home buyer or someone that doesn't have too much experience, I would stay away from those kind of projects.
I agree.
And I would look at things that I could just revamp, update as I, through the years. You know what I mean?
I agree. Okay.
And at the end of the day, I mean, it's an investment, so you shouldn't steer away from a little project like paint, like floor, maybe the bathroom.
Yeah.
Something very reasonable.
Yeah, it's like, customizing the house, your house the way you want it to.
Yeah.
Moving forward, the next question, we're on question number 3. Mm-hmm. What is the importance of a pre-approval letter when house hunting?
Well, I mean, for one, it gives you a definite answer on what your budget is. It gives you a realistic answer on what your budget is, and it sets somewhat of an expectation to what we should be looking at. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go over your budget or think you can go over your budget. You fall in love with this house, but it's $200,000 over your budget, and then you're crushed. You can't get that house, and then it might steer you away from making one of the best financial decisions you're gonna make.
I agree.
Yeah,
Renee.
So to me, it's gonna be 2-pronged, right, Carlos? The importance of a pre-approval. I think it's important to the buyer, let's say for themselves, like you said, to understand your own finances, right? What you're getting into, your budget, things like that you need to discuss with your lender and your realtor, right? And then how you're perceived out there in the market, right? Remember, at the end of the day, it's a marketplace, and there will be competition, right? So how your lender letter stacks up against another lender letter, it actually matters. In the sense, let me give you an example. When I'm on the listing side, and let's say I have, two, let's say 2 similar offers, right? And I see something like maybe, let's just say, I don't want to put a name on it, so let's just say a local lender, right? That I know if I have a question, I can Google it and be there in 30 minutes and knock on the door, and I'm going to get an answer, right? As opposed to if I see, and no disrespect to whoever I'm going to name here, it is not meant that way, but as opposed to if I see a bank from, I don't know, Wichita, Kansas or something, right? Mm-hmm. Not to say that it's not a good bank. I just, how accessible are they going to be? Can I go knock on their door? Yeah. Do they have a local reputation? Do they understand the local market, the local product? So to say that, like when I see a local lender, let's say what kind of approval letter? Is it I'll be honest, there's some that you can go online right now, probably with Rocket Mortgage or something like that, plug in some information and just spits out an approval letter. Yeah. All right. That's not, if I'm on the listing side and you're competing for this house and there's another one that, I know it's not a real quick 30-second approval letter, then you're losing out. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. as a buyer. So there's the importance to you as far as the numbers, and then your approval letter is actually going to go ahead and when you compete for other offers, for houses against other offers, your approval letter is actually important too to see how it stands out from the other ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then and sorry to keep going, but it depends on the approval letter, man. There's some approval letters that say, hey, everything's been checked. You know what I mean? And there's some that say, hey, based on what they told us. You see what I'm saying? So, you got to look out for that.
Trust but verify, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's important to have a pre-approval letter. Yeah. Is it necessary? No, but it kind of gives you an advantage over other home buyers when you're house hunting. And that could be critical depending on what market you find yourself in. If you find yourself in a very competitive real estate market, you are going to miss out on a lot of opportunities of being able to get a house under contract if you don't have a pre-approval letter, because it's kind of like you showing the seller, hey, look, I'm pre-approved for this amount. It means that the bank is willing to lend me this amount. Yeah. So I'm not just saying, a figure out of my, just to say it. And
here's the thing, Carlos, on the listing side, why it's important is because I can, like I just said, I can call and verify.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're presenting me with something, I can actually call up and say, hey, is Mr. Robinson actually approved for this? And then I can ask questions like to that lender. You know what I mean? Hey, has credit been verified in X and X, right? And then that's what I'm saying. So then the pre-approval is like the first step on how you're presenting this offer to the seller, right? So you want to, like anything else, you want to make a good impression. And here's the thing, it's like an unwritten rule, but when I'm on a listing agent, I expect an approval letter. If it's going to be financed, right? If you're financing, I expect you to tell me, well, who's financing this? Yeah. So then I can, call and verify, right? So that's why it's not, like you said, nobody's going to say, no, you have to have an approval letter. But it is expected, right, of you to provide an approval letter when you're gonna finance something.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, make sure that if you're planning on buying a home, if your agent hasn't already, make sure that your offer has a pre-approval letter in it, so you can have a pretty good shot at at having a strong offer. Mm-hmm. Moving forward. We're on to what? The
number
fifth?
3?
No, this was the third one.
Yeah, number 3.
We're on to the fourth one.
Nah.
Yeah, we're.
What questions did you ask?
Pre-approval.
Fixer-upper, pre-approval, home inspector.
So this is the fourth one?
Yeah.
I'm tripping. All right, it's on me.
Yeah. So on to the fourth question is, what are the most common mistakes first-time home buyers make, and how can they avoid them? What do you guys think?
Wow, that's a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, let's say
something that we have seen in our own experiences.
Well, one very important one that won't stop somebody from buying, but will delay the process if you, let's say there's an urgency, is not having credit, not having at least 2 to 3 credit cards. With at least 600 credit score, the minimum maintained. That might set some people back a few months, just depending on their situation. Let's say you have no credit. The fastest I've heard people will get a credit score is like about a month, 2 months, 3 months. So that was the first one where my mind went to.
Okay, so what you're saying is basically make sure that people have multiple credit lines, or that they have just credit in general.
Yeah, they have, from what I understand, you need at least 2 to 3 credit lines, and then that reflects a credit score with above 600 on average.
Yeah, it depends on the program.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing, the issue I have with the question is, see, he understood the question one way. I'm understanding it another way.
Yeah.
He understood it like when you're going to buy a house. Yeah. I understood it once you already bought the house.
Well, yeah, so...
Because how could you make a mistake if you didn't actually buy it?
Well,
or maybe you're looking at the...
Yeah, okay, so it could be... I get what you're saying, but you can also interpret it as if... mistakes to avoid while on the path to buying a home.
Yeah.
But I guess you could also interpret it as when you're already a homeowner for the first time, Is that what you
like when
how
you just went
understand?
through the home buying process? Like what mistakes?
Yeah, that too.
Usually people make and they could have avoided.
It
That's how
doesn't-
I understood it.
It doesn't matter. So
All right, so I'll answer. I guess I can answer it both ways. So preemptively, let's say when you're on the search, when you're on the path, I would say the number one mistake is lack of information.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You need more information. Like if you have doubts, it's because you don't have enough information. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever that be, the market, the numbers, the loan program, you just don't have enough info. So that's number one mistake. So if you're making decisions with lack of info, you're probably gonna, it's probably not gonna turn out to be the best decision for you, right? Number one, and then I guess number two, I guess once they've already moved in, I would say honestly, nobody talks about this. I understand that it's already set. It's these are 360 payments that are already scheduled, but I think more people should not be content with that, and they should try to get out of this faster and have a plan with that. Like I feel like first time home buyers don't have a plan on how can I get out of this mortgage faster. It's just like, hey, that's the mortgage, and I'm just gonna pay it off in 30 years and hope for the best, and that's great, right? But like anything else, if you could pay it off faster, it's just better for you.
wait, so you're telling me that me as a homeowner, I can pay my mortgage quicker?
Yeah, of course, bro.
Renee, how do I do that?
Hey, send them some more money. You know what I mean? But I say it's simple. But okay, so think about it like this, right? When you take on a mortgage, it's already set up for 30 years, 312 payments a year, 360 payments in total, right? And the interest has been pre-calculated, right? So it's already set up for you. These are the payments. Now, can you get out of it faster? Yes, of course. I mean, I think you would want to if you can, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is to, contact your bank, communicate with your lender, and let them know, hey, this is going straight to the principal. Because remember, you're paying interest on that principal that you owe.
Yeah.
So if you lower the principal,
That's what you're tackling first.
Exactly.
Is the interest.
Yeah. Well, you're attacking. What you're really attacking is your principal, right?
Right. No, but I'm talking about like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Is in the initial mortgage payment. Majority of it initially is going towards interest.
Yes.
So and then when you kill the interest, that's when you start tackling the principal.
The loan is front loaded with them getting their interest money. So when you're paying these mortgage payments, they're front loaded with the interest up front. You're barely making payments on the principal. And that's why it takes so long.
Because the bank wants its money back.
Well, they took the risk, they put it up, they're going to get it back.
Of
right?
course.
So that's what you got to say. Hey, like if you look at, we have episodes where we talk about the amortization table. If you look at that will sadden you. You know what I mean?
Go check out our previous episodes if you haven't. And while you're there, drop a like, comment, subscribe.
Share, man. So if you look at that amortization table, it'll tell you, on the first payment you make, this goes to interest, this goes to principal, and then you can see over 30 years, one goes up, one goes down, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is, okay, that's already preordained, it's already set up for you. What you need to do, because you're paying interest on that principal, right? So what you need to do is lessen the principal, so you lessen the interest, right? And it'll get you to get out of that loan faster. So what you need to do, reiterate.
Keep it simple for me, Renee. My head hurts.
The mistake that I feel that first-time home buyers make is that they don't plan on trying to get out of that mortgage faster than the 30 years it was already set up for. So
is it necessary? No. Should you, if you find yourself in a situation where you're making a little bit more money than what you started off making, and you can afford to make an extra payment, every other month or every.
What a lot of people do, or from what I understand, they either save up a little every month and then do a lump sum at the end of the year, right? Or they take their tax return, you know what I mean, and they just dump it back into into the mortgage only on the principal. See, here's the thing, people: it's scheduled payments. So the bank, you owe this amount every month, right? So if you let's keep it simple. If you owe a $2,000 mortgage, right, that's what it's scheduled for the next 30 years. So if you just send them a $10,000 mortgage payment, what's going to happen is you're going to prepay 5 months of mortgage. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like they're gonna go, okay, they send us extra $8,000.
You gotta tell them.
You gotta let them know.
Yeah,
because it's scheduled payments. So whatever amount you send them, they're just gonna apply them to the schedule. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you gotta let them know. No, I want to attack the principal. So that's outside of the agreement I have with you. I'm gonna attack. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
That they don't say no, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Because that's less money for them.
Yeah, I will say make sure that there is no prepayment penalties.
Yeah.
So meaning that there is not going to be any penalty for you paying off your mortgage quicker.
Yeah.
Because in some cases there is a prepayment penalty. Just FYI, okay? But amazing tips. I also agree with what you say. And what would be mine? I would say not.
It's tough because we took them.
Yeah,
we took the good
you
ones.
guys took them all. You know? No, it's not. The mistakes first-time home buyers make. I'd say not. One of mine was not educating yourself faster, sooner, and also just not really looking at what you doing it sooner than later, I guess. Because there is so much opportunity in being a homeowner, right? And it's just I see the value in it, and when I first got into real estate, I saw it. I was like, yo, now I see why all these rich people invest in real estate. So I guess my one tip would be like, do it sooner than later. But also, educate yourself. It's important to know, all the pros and cons, all the benefits, all the things that you're missing out on, because there's a lot of free information out there. There's plenty of people talking about, what are benefits and how to get into your home with minimum money. Yeah. And, there's programs out there that you can get into a house with 0 down payment. You just got to educate yourself on how and what you got to do to qualify.
Yeah, there's employment specific programs.
Yeah.
Like if you're a fireman, a police,
yes.
EMS, a teacher, there's doctors, there's different programs. Man.
Yeah.
So if do some information.
Yeah. Talk to a real estate agent if you know. I know at least everybody knows one real estate agent. Yeah. And just ask them, pick their brains. Don't say, hey, I don't want to buy a house yet, but I want to educate myself.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, well,
reach out to us.
Yeah, reach out to us. There's plenty of free game on my page as well as Renee's and Edwin's page, and just YouTube.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you'll bump across our YouTube channel.
Give us a like.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Drop a like.
And I can add to that also, because there was this one situation with a client. They were explaining to me they've been in the home buying process for a while. Well, they've thought about buying a home for a while. And this is about 6 months back. And as I'm talking to them, I say, why didn't you attempt 6 months back when it seemed like you were in a better position? Because, things change in life. Maybe you have to get a new job. Maybe, let's say, you have to buy a new car and then the down payment is, or maybe you took a hit on your credit. So sometimes waiting for the right moment will put you in a worse position than where you are right now, which is probably the right moment.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's the number one mistake everybody's making right now. In my opinion, is trying to time out the market. Like, you shouldn't try to time out the market.
Timing out the market without having the information to know why you're timing it out.
Nobody can time it, bro. That's the whole point. Nobody can time the market.
Nobody.
Man. All you can do is when's the best time for you?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly it. It's just looking at your situation, your finances, and see if you're able to buy a house, then do it. Don't like we said, there is no timing the market. It's just get started.
Yeah.
If you can, just do it. Guys, moving forward. Number 5, the final question. And I would say, no, it's not the best for last. I'm trying to find a really good one.
Why don't you go through all of them and then we'll pick this last one.
So we have, how can I determine how much I can afford when buying a house?
Okay. Talk to a lender.
How do I choose the right neighborhood to buy a home in?
Okay. Do your research on what's important to you about the neighborhood.
Okay, we're just what do you call it? Just spitballing. We've gone through that one. Okay, we did that one. What are the key elements to look for during a home showing or open house?
I like that.
Okay.
I think we can get some insight there.
You want to choose that one?
What? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. What are the key elements to look for during a home showing or open house?
All right. So
that's not bad. That's good. We can roll with that.
All right. So I'm gonna tell you. This is probably not an answer to the question. I'm gonna tell you how I look at a house when I'm walking with
your POV
with a client. My POV, right? So my POV is usually we're working with clients that are financing, getting a mortgage through a lender, and these lenders are going to have certain requirements as far as the condition, right, of the home and things like that. So when I'm going through a house with a client, I'm already look at it preemptively, like, hey, what what is in this house that a lender's gonna flag, right? And usually a lender wants things that have to do with safety, right? Just like safety and codes and things like that, right? So if I see a broken window, right, or a railing that is loose, the average home buyer is not really necessarily looking for these things. They're looking at the space, the square footage, the backyard, the kitchen, the bathroom. You know what I mean? They're not looking for the little details. So I look at it like that. I look at it like, hey, what are the potential things that the lender might say, hey, we can't move forward until this is addressed.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a very good point, because that'll add a lot of complications many times to the home buying process. But I would say I look. Let's say we're first time home buyers, and you're looking at a house. Many people, from my experience, look at their first home as somewhat their forever home.
Mm-hmm.
Like they plan on residing there for 10, 15 years. And that withholds the purchase in many times is because they want the perfect house. They want the bathroom to look this way and the kitchen to be ready. So I would say for first-time home buyers, it's definitely a stepping stone. Like we talked earlier in the podcast, it's like a trading card. You get one, it increases value. It helps you get your forever home eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I would say the things to look for when I go on showings with clients is similar to what Renee says. Look at it through not so much the lender, but also the inspector's point of view. Being through a couple home inspections, you kind of pick up a couple of things as to what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. So I'm always on the lookout for those things. Smell, how dry it is. Things like that. So I can be kind of like, okay, cool. Like, you love this house. These are kind of things that, I got to keep in the back of my mind. Like, I got to look out for. And those are the things that kind of like, you can kind of foreshadow,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so let's say, you have a lender required repairs, you can kind of know, hey, if this is going to need like some type of repair, this is going to cost X amount. So I got to budget into the lender required repairs. Mm-hmm. So, so it won't, if it comes down to that, it won't come out of my buyer's pocket.
Yeah.
So those are things to kind of like, that's how I look at it.
So I guess what we're saying is, as realtors, we're looking out for our buyers and to inform them of the potential, repairs that might come up.
Yeah.
And whether, what strategy we're going to have for these repairs.
Yeah.
Because,
while they're looking at it like, oh, I love the kitchen. The bathroom's nice. Yeah. It has what I'm looking for. We're looking at it like, okay, cool.
Yeah. But I guess that wasn't the question. But so to answer the question, if you're a home buyer, what I would say is look for potential, right? So look for things that you're actually going to be, like I said earlier, you're actually going to be realistically able to execute. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like let's say, hey, you don't like the house because, the bedrooms are too small. Yeah, that's probably not going to change. You know what I mean? So if that's really a reason and that's a deal breaker, that's not going to be the house for you, because adding more bedrooms is now, a costly endeavor. Like we said, additions or knocking down walls and things like that, right? But I brought another example and I said, yeah, it could be hard, but it depends what level you want to finish it to. Like, let's say if you see a basement and there's potential there, you see what I'm saying? To finish it, rent it, that's added living space that you're basically going to update. You're not really going to construct. You see what I'm saying? So I see, that's what I'm saying. Look at a house as what potential does it have, right? And for the things that you can change, not the things that you can't change.
Amazing. I agree 100%.
Advice, yeah.
Edwin.
Very solid advice.
Wrap up the episode, Edwin.
All right. I want to, we're sitting on a bank of knowledge. So if you guys ever have any questions, we'd love to answer them. We'd love to have an episode where we have just questions from you, your
That'd be awesome,
experiences.
Yes.
It'd be awesome if someone commented, hey, this is what I want to hear about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you guys have any ideas, any feedbacks or what you want to see on the episodes, what you want to see us talk about, if you have questions, please drop it down in the comments.
Por favor.
Por favor.
Or one fun one I would think is tell me about your home buying experience.
Yeah.
What if there's any disasters that happen? Let's say
how could you have changed it, I guess?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Or if you've already bought a home, and if you're contemplating on buying a home, tell us what's holding you back. You know, maybe we have some feedback for you and help you get over those hurdles.
Yeah, we're about to do an episode telling you exactly why. You know, I think we did a video, right?
Yeah,
Telling
we're gonna do a first time homebuyers guide episode here coming soon. We've done one in the past, but we're gonna revamp it and just give you guys the raw meat and potatoes of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Signing off, man. Let's get it done.